Pokemon is a beloved franchise that many of us have grown up with. If you're watching this, Rimworld is a beloved game that usually involves violating the Geneva Convention. And when you combine the two, you get a very fun mod. I'm Felly, and this is going to be my overview of POKEWORLD. POKEWORLD is a very expansive mod for Rimworld that adds all Pokemon from Gens 1 to 4 into the game and allows you to catch them all. If being a Pokemon Master is your destiny, at least for the 493 Pokemon that encompass Gens 1, 2, 3, and 4, this is a must play. So let's get into it. So you're probably wondering, okay, how do I get a Pokemon? Well, unlike in regular Rimworld, wild Pokemon cannot actually be tamed. You do have to catch them. And the way you do that is using a Pokeball belt and using either your other Pokemon or just catching lower level Pokemon that have less of a chance of escaping your Pokeball. So as you can see, I am currently drafted. And yes, I did make a self-insert of myself because I want to be a Pokemon Master. And I'm going to just go ahead and equip the Pokeball belt. And as you can see, I do have a Pokemon with me. I have a Pikachu. And we're going to attempt to catch one of these Slowpokes, because I love Slowpoke. Around the trainer that you're using, around your pond, you're going to see a blue perimeter, very similar to any other type of ranged weapon. And what this perimeter actually shows is how far your Pokemon can be controlled when you are drafted. So my Pikachu is currently drafted alongside me and is within the circle I can control it with. So I'm just going to have it come over to me. Now, first things first, I'm going to try to catch a lower level Slowpoke without fighting it. So right now we have level 8, level 6, level 17, and level 18. So I'm going to go after the lower level Pokemon because just like in the Pokemon games, Pokeballs themselves are not as high of a catch rate as, say, an Ultra Ball or a Great Ball. So I'm going to get closer to it and bring my little Pikachu with me just in case. So when you highlight over the Pokeballs themselves, you're going to see a new perimeter, which is how far you can actually throw a Pokeball to be able to catch a Pokemon. Now, the mechanics that the Pokeballs use are similar to other ranged weapons. And what that means is you're going to want a Pokemon trainer or whoever you're using to have high animal and high shooting. So something along the lines of what you would want your hunter to be if we get lucky. Nope, so that didn't work out. My Pikachu is currently level 9, which is about equal to these Slowpokes I'm about to catch. So let's fight one and see what happens. The thing with these Pokemon is that they do have both ranged and melee. So you can either have them shoot at the Slowpoke or melee it. So I'm gonna have the Pikachu Thunderbolt. See if we can catch it. Get a little closer. Let's try this one. So this one is going to be the level 8. So this is a pretty even fight. But yeah, the Pikachu just shot it. Nothing really happened. Nope. So because the range attacks aren't working, I'm going to have my Pikachu actually melee fight this Slowpoke. And as you can see, because they are pretty evenly matched, they are both taking some damage. Pikachu's at 75 and Slowpoke is at 78. All right. Okay, so the Pikachu is not winning this fight. So I'm going to have it back off and try once again to catch this. And there we go. The Slowpoke finally had enough damage that I was able to catch it, which is nice. Okay, so you caught your first Pokemon. Now, what do you do with it? Well, you can either keep it in the Pokeball and take it back to a stockpile, or you can open it and either heal it or start training it. Now, if you click on the Pokeball, it'll show you what is inside of it. And then if you open up the contents, you'll see the more detailed overview. And you can also now click on this info tab and it gives you everything about the animal. A little lower, this is all pretty standard to any other animal in Rimworld. But if you go a little bit lower, you'll see there is a added POKEWORLD section that gives you the typing, the level, how much experience it has, its level of friendship, and when it evolves. This is really important if you are trying to complete your Pokedex. So if you look over here, it shows that it needs a certain item to evolve into its next evolution, and it needs to reach level 37 to evolve into another one. Now, this doesn't actually tell you what it evolves into. Now, obviously, you can look it up, and you probably know that Slowpoke evolves into Slowbro or Slowking, but within the context of the mod, you do have to discover it as you continue playing. You know, a Slowpoke might not be that exciting. Maybe you want something like Mewtwo or another one of the legendaries. There's a way to get those legendaries are actually spawned as quests as opposed to Pokemon you find in the wild. So how do you get these quests? If you go down to the lower tabs on your screen, you're going to see a Pokedex tab. Now, the Pokedex does exactly what you think it does. It shows you every Pokemon that you've seen and every Pokemon that you've caught. And just like in the Pokemon games, every time you see or catch a new Pokemon, it gets added to your Pokedex. These icons show ones you've caught, and these show ones you've seen but haven't caught yet. The ones you have caught have the info icon next to them, where you can learn more about them, whereas the ones that you haven't caught, just like in any other Pokemon game, the dex has not been updated yet. And legendaries spawn based on how full your Pokedex is. It is gen dependent. So let's say you've caught, I don't know, like over 100 Pokemon in Gen 1. You are going to get a quest spawn for one of the legendaries. Another cool thing about the mod is that the legendaries spawn in order. So you're going to have to catch all 3 bird legendaries from Gen 1 if you want to catch Mewtwo. And that goes for every single gen. The more from each gen you catch, the more legendary quests you're going to unlock. Speaking of Pokeballs, how do you get more? Well, initially, you're going to be stuck with the lowest of the low. If you go to a crafting spot, you'll see the option for a bill. If you scroll all the way down, you're going to automatically have Apricorn Ball Belt unlocked. It's going to be the quickest and most easily accessible Pokeball you can make. Although, like I said, the catch rate is really low. So you're going to want something a little more powerful, right? Well, if you go to the research tab, you're actually going to see an entire section dedicated exclusively to PokeWorld, which is where you're going to unlock a lot of stuff that's going to help you advance within the game. So initially, you'll see that you automatically have Apricorns unlocked. And the next step above that is going to be Pokeballs, then Great Balls, then Ultra Balls. Just like in the game, Master Ball belts are actually very hard to come across. You can get them from traders, but you can't actually craft them yourselves. So anytime you see a trader that has Master Ball belts available, I would highly recommend grabbing them because they're going to make catching legendaries a lot easier. You're going to see this trait a lot with the PokeWorld things you can unlock. You're going to have to unlock vanilla stuff before you can go. For instance, if you want to start unlocking potions and then obviously hyper potions and things that will heal your Pokemon faster, you're going to have drug production, fossil revival, which we'll get into in a little bit, and the PC and programming, which again, we will talk about in a second. So while you can use regular Rimworld medicine on injured Pokemon, a great way to heal them is using potions and hyper potions. It helps them recover a lot faster from injuries. However, if something very seriously damages your Pokemon, like it loses a limb, you're going to need heal powder in order to fix it. Yeah, did I mention that Pokemon can lose limbs in this game? I mean, it is Rimworld after all. Not every item is going to be unlocked through research. You can actually get things like evolution stones and King's Rocks from mining. It is random. You will mine and a stone will typically drop. Something else you're going to come across when you're mining is going to be fossils. And you can get ancient Pokemon from fossils, but first you're going to have to unlock Fossil Revival in the research tab. Now, Fossil Revival is going to be a later game thing because you do have to have the high-tech research bench and the multi-analyzer both unlocked before you can even start working on it. However, once you get it done, it's going to operate like any other workbench, and you're going to be able to take either the old amber or any of the fossils that you find and turn them into Pokemon. Here is a list of all of the ancient Pokemon that you can get from the Fossil Resurrector. So once you have that done, you are going to make a big dent in your Pokédex. One last thing about fossils in this game. It appears that there is a mod conflict between the Fossil Resurrector bench and the No Job Authors mod. So what ends up happening is that your fossils get caught in a loop where they are permanently unfinished and you are unable to continue resurrecting them. If you are playing with this mod, I do not recommend using No Job Authors, although it's possible that the creator of the mod or someone will be able to fix that incompatibility at some point. So the final branch on this research tree in the PokeWorld tab is going to be the Pokemon storage system. Now, this works really similarly to the Pokemon PC in the Pokemon games, where it holds all of your Pokeballs instead of having to keep them in a stockpile or just having them kind of scattered around your base. So you've got most of the PokeWorld tab unlocked. And now you're wondering what this later stuff like cyberspace programming is supposed to be. Cyberspace programming basically allows you to unlock higher level Pokemon. The first one gives you Porygon, and then planetary development and interdimensional activity gives you the ability to unlock Porygon's later evolution. Now, because I'm only doing Gen 1 in this run, I didn't bother with the latter two. I just unlocked cyberspace programming to get Porygon. But if you want to be the very best, like no one ever was, you're going to have to do all of the research for it. So let's say you found some evolution stones and you want to evolve your Pokemon. It's actually really easy to do this, and I'm going to use my favorite Pokemon, Flareon, as an example. So right here we have our little Eevee, we have the Firestone. You're going to actually go to the Health tab, and it works as an operation. You'll see the option here to expose to a Firestone. If it were a Water Stone or a Leaf Stone, you'd see the exact same thing, or a Thunderstone, because Eevee has all of its evolutions. But the only time this will pop up is if it's a Pokemon that can evolve using the stone. There are also Everstones in this game, so if you don't want a Pokemon to evolve, you can just give it the Everstone. So I'm just going to queue up Exposed to Firestone. That's going to let my Dr. Pawn know that it is time to give it the stone to evolve. And I just put a medical spot right here, so I can just show you how it works. Going to put it there, and then Yeah, so I'm going to expose this Eevee to this Firestone, and we're going to get to see it evolve into Flareon. You'll get the notification that Eevee is evolving, and it takes a minute, and there it is. And that is how you evolve Pokemon that require evolutionary stones. Same thing with the King's Rock. It's going to be given as an operation. Let's say if you want like a Slowking or something like that. And there's some other Pokemon that need certain items that may be a little different than how you would get them in the OG games, but I'll leave that for you to discover. Quick thing I want to show you is that while you are in the Health tab under Operations, if your Pokemon is downed or has damage, you'll see that the option to administer potions or healing powder is also going to be considered an operation. So basically anything you need to give your Pokemon in order to change it in any way is going to be under the Health tab. But you've got your Pokemon, but you want it to get stronger. So there's two ways you can level up your Pokemon. One is by training it. If you open up the Animals tab, you will see there is an option called XP. And if you click it, your handlers will be able to train XP boosts, and your Pokemon can level up that way and gain experience through training. The other way is by having them fight. I'm going to give you an example of this right now. Back in your Animal tab, just make sure that you do have the handler set to the pawn that you want your Pokemon to fight alongside. And once your pawn is drafted, you're going to see the Pokemon is right there with it. And I am just going to send my Flareon to attack this Tentacool. Now, as you'll notice, the Flareon is level 28 and this Tentacool is only level 6. So this is not going to be that fair of a fight, and it's not going to go that long. The Flareon's also not going to gain that much experience from it. But if you get a lot of raids or a lot of manhunting packs, depending on the difficulty level you're playing at, this is an excellent way to level up your Pokemon very quickly. So yeah, not a fair fight at all. And kind of sad that the Pokemon can die in this. But on the bright side, you do get meat and leather from Pokemon. All Pokemon do give Pokemon meat, and anything from heavy fur to light leather, depending on which Pokemon it is. In order to show you how this like later game tech works, I decided to just hop over to my current save file where I've been doing this run for a few weeks on my Twitch channel, where I stream at 7 p.m. Eastern 4 times a week. Anyway, so I can show you how the PC works. So as you can see, I have quite a few Pokeballs just kind of scattered around in my barn. You can also see where I have my King's Rock, some evolution stones, and a ton of Pokemon eggs. We will get into that later. But for right now, I'm just going to select these Ultra Balls that have Pokemon that I have caught but I'm not currently using. And I'm going to hover over the store in the PC option. Once I do that, I can have pretty much any of my pawns come over, and you'll see it gives you the priority to put them in the PC. I'm just going to go ahead and have them do that really quick. So there goes my pawn, just putting them in the PC, just like any other storage unit. And then I'll show you how to actually use the PC itself. Perfect. If you open up the PC, you're going to see the Contents tab. And if you click on it, you're going to see all of the Pokemon I just stored. Now, the reason that the Pokemon PC is so much better than just having your Pokeballs in a stockpile is because it gives you an excellent, very quick overview of what you currently have, what their levels are, and you can order them based on their Pokemon number, their name, or their level. So let's say I'm about to have a massive raid and I want my strongest Pokemon. I'm going to just order this by level, and I'm going to see that I have quite a few high-level Pokemon that I'm not currently using, take them out of storage, and then I'll be able to open them and use them as I need them. So while we're here, we might as well talk about Pokemon eggs. Now, Pokemon do breed in this mod like they do in the regular games, and if you have a Pokemon of either gender, you will get eggs unless you sterilize them. So The thing that's unique about Pokemon eggs in this game is that they don't actually show exact progress. They give you an overall idea. So this Pokemon egg just says it doesn't seem close to hatch. It'll tell you if it gets closer and closer. Now, the cool thing about eggs is that you don't actually know what Pokemon they're coming from until they hatch. So all of these eggs can be from completely different Pokemon or the same breeding pair that I've just completely lost track of. A good way to know which of your Pokemon are currently breeding is actually if you go to the Animals tab, you can see the egg progress on some of them. So if I look over at my Animals tab, I can see right off the bat that I've got a Slowpoke, a Golduck, and a Rhydon who seem to have fertilized eggs that are in progress. And a quick note here is just because you have higher level Pokemon laying the eggs, just like in the Pokemon games, they will hatch as the original evolution. So the Rhydon egg will hatch into a Rhyhorn, and the Golduck egg will hatch into a Psyduck. I have had issues with the eggs in incubators. It doesn't seem to be the most consistent thing. And mostly my eggs have hatched completely unbeknownst to me, even if I put them in a temperature controlled room or in an incubator. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That might be a mod conflict. I have a big mod list, but something to keep in mind if you want to breed a specific Pokemon for a specific purpose when you're playing. So that was my overview and mini tutorial on the POKEWORLD mod and how you use it to make Rimworld the very best like no one ever was. I have had so much fun playing this mod. I recommend it 1,000,000%. And I've had so much fun hearing from other people what they think of it. Huge shout out to the mod author. Thank you so much for making it. Looking forward to see what others do with this mod. Looking forward to see if there's any big updates. And yeah, have fun catching them all, guys. Bye.